Chapter 11. It was a game. Like nothing I'd ever played. But it helped to think of it as a game. Don't think of it as lives, actual lives. It's only a game. When it's all over in Idar and I will laugh and... Only in Idar was dead, wasn't he? And everyone. I took my momentum and held it through a turn, making unchecked leeway that carried me a mile before I could engage thrust again. The leeway was a surprise. Not like winged flight. I zoomed back, but the Capassan ship wasn't going to give me another free move. It was turning to meet us. Its much more powerful beam would soon be trained on us. And yet, in this game perhaps the edge went to the smaller target? No way to know. I was guessing. Intuiting. Large, slow ship with powerful beam versus small, more maneuverable ship with a stinger. Who wins that game? I fired. Missed. Take your time, aim carefully, I said. Do what? Lakofa cried, hands clutching, blue-knuckled at the controls. Reverse thrust. Now. The alien body slammed into the back of my pods. But I kept my eyes on the window and saw the pale beam lance harmlessly by. I had made the miss. Okay, then. That was the game. If my edge was maneuverability, I'd better maneuver. The Capassans were surface dwellers, had to be. They flew their ships like surface dwellers, more in 2 dimensions than 3, up thrust. Twist it right and... Yeah, like that. The crate moved straight up, breaking free of the Capassan ship's plane. I tilted the nose of the crate down and fired. A hit. An engine. I'd hit an engine. Sizzling sparks and burning gases blowtorched from the hole. The engine pod blew apart. The Capassan ship spun, wild, out of control. They're disabled. Lakofa cried triumphantly. I fired again. Not thinking. Not intellectualizing the decision, just knowing. I fired and the beam missed. What are you doing? She's disabled, Lakofa said. Careful aim this time. I fired and held the ring down. The Capassan ship blew apart, 1,000 small fragments. Now she's disabled, I whispered. I glanced and saw Lakofa's horrified stare. I couldn't share it. It wasn't coldness on my part, I just knew the game and he didn't. The Capassans could have fired again and killed us. They could have fired flechettes at the crystal. The only win is a kill, I said. That's the game. It's their game. They didn't disable the home crystal, they annihilated it. Their game, their rules. Lakofa made no answer. We returned to the MCQ-3 and parked the crate within a flutter of the main perch. We had to confer with Farsight. I suggested Lakofa go. No, Ellimist, you. If I get out of this box I'll never get back in. I can rest here, keep my eyes closed, or maybe look at this alien. You go. Besides, you're the gamer. I didn't argue. He was right. He could be of some use examining the Capassan. I found the hatch and the release. Sky. I moved with deliberate slowness to exit the death trap. If I allowed myself to feel panic then like Lakofa, I'd never come back. Once outside I saw that the polars had killed momentum and were nearly stopped. They were maintaining station and half a dozen of their people were racing toward the MC. I beat wing and reached the main perch minutes ahead of them. Farsight would want my report first before having to cope with the no doubt panicked polars. The wise one was resting in a hammock. He looked a bit orange. Sick or just old? Either way it was disturbing to see our only leader being supported in a hammock with never a stir from his tired wings. He was surrounded by advisors, maybe a dozen, all looking scared or confused or sly. An officious female pink I'd never met cut me off. Go away. Farsight is busy. I am Azure level, 7 spar, extension, there is no Azure level. Not anymore, she snapped. Go away. Don't you know what's going on? I'm the one who just blew up the Capassan ship, I said, not in any mood to have some mid-level pull rank on me. Her eyes narrowed. Her expression went from stony dismissal to clever anticipation. Yurtsuman, Lakofa must have given them my chosen name. She grabbed me and nearly shoved me through the press of hovering advisors. All at once I was eyes to eyes with Farsight. I tried not to look at the hammock netting. The pink, whose name was Tachila, introduced me in quick, almost brutal, terms. And she stayed close. I had the feeling I had just become her protégé. Even her property. Deep worms were the really people who could think of ambition at a time like this. Farsight fixed his gloomy eyes on me. What do you know? An admirably appropriate question. Lakofa believes they are Kapassin. We can fly the great, the small ship of theirs, and we can fight her. But if we encounter more of their ships, the odds do not favor Lakofa and me. More ships? Tachila shrilled. What do you mean more ships? Why should there be more ships? I was unsure. I was operating on instinct. I knew there were more ships, I knew it. But could I convince them? They play. I mean that they fight slowly. They take their time. They enjoy the process. I was on the verge of explaining that they were very much like a species called Endrids from the game. The Endrids, too, derived pleasure from the act of killing prey. But bringing the game into this would not help my credibility. The number of home crystals that are missing, presumed destroyed, the leisurely way the Kapassins play. I assume there are several more ships, I said, sounding unconvincing even to myself. This was not good news. Tachila denounced the idea. She was no longer standing beside me claiming me as her own. The issue is not this juvie gamer's fantasies, the issue is where we should take the MC. We need to find a new home crystal and claim protected status. Just then the polars arrived in a rush of wings and breathless questions. What is happening? That alien ship chased us as though preparing to attack. Farsight held up one feeble hand to cut them off. Who speaks for you? I am called Jard Brass, one of them said. I will speak. This ship is within our rightful station. This is no dance by. You are welcome here, but you will submit to our democratic authority. What? Someone guffawed. We just saved your lives and you want to assert the primacy of your experimental system? Saved our lives? We have no proof that the alien ship was. You were running away, Tachila snapped. Don't be a skimmer. You weren't flogging the wind for that cloud bank because you thought the aliens had come to trade metals. Farsight said, we have so far counted 12 home crystals known to be destroyed or at least missing, far from their presumed stations. That made Jard Brass gulp. But he was not prepared to go beyond his particular concern. Just the same, this ship and the attached alien box are within our jurisdiction. You will submit to our elected council, or you may move off. It was unbelievable. Tachila came back with some obscure legal point. One of the polars cited a long ago precedent. And in a flash the entire perch echoed with the sound of wrangling. People are what they are. They have their limits, I guess. I was trying to be philosophical, but it was getting hard. I was acutely aware of the fact that Lakofa was boxed up in the grate, sweating and deep breathing. And that Agella was docked, wounded, no doubt feeling abandoned. Deep worms, shut up, I said silently. Only when I saw the shocked stares and heard the sudden silence did I realize I'd said it out loud.